Queer identity and development oftentimes go hand in hand. Developmental trauma is very different than what we would think of as maybe an episode of trauma or a tragic moment or a very petrifying situation. Developmental trauma is exposure to something that might feel insignificant, but that will almost poke us, leaving a small, tiny pinprick of a wound. I like to think of developmental trauma almost like the emotional tattoo gun. One little poke we can sustain, it wasn't that bad, we definitely won't call it traumatic, but it will leave pain and a mark behind. And as we, over time, look over what this emotional tattooing gun has done, in other words, what developmental trauma has done, it's left us completely altered and branded by our experiences. What we know of trauma is that there's 4 states. State 1 is stressed. State 2 is anxious and very fearful. Could also be even rageful. State 3 feels like being frozen with a little pinch of hope right in the center of this painful ice cube. And state 4 is feeling almost so afraid that there's no other option except to detach from the body in either neutrality or into euphoria. State 4 is dissociative, it's very painful. State 3 is very frozen, and this is where our core beliefs are challenged. We reserve state 3 and state 4 to think about like these horrific major events like a very catastrophic car accident. In fact, we can go into state 3 and 4 because of developmental trauma. For queer people, it might be something like feeling inadequate, I am unlovable, I am insignificant, I am unimportant. And if these core wounds are literally living in our body like a sensation as opposed to a cognitive experience, this is a state 3 trauma. So when we think about developmental trauma in the queer community, we want to recognize that it has a profound impact not only on our identity and how we see ourselves, it has a profound impact on our relationships and the way we show up in those relationships, what we might ask out of our partner to soothe this deep internal pain that we experience, but it will also have a major effect on our physiology. So when it comes to homophobia and transphobia and those little pinpricks that distort your identity and the way that you feel about yourself, you can be really sure that this trauma, although developmental, it will be very painful.